Hi loves, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. I make new videos every single week and I have some really exciting videos coming up for you guys, so make sure you subscribe and turn on my bell notifications so you don't miss a thing. So I recently saw this trend on TikTok where people share a list of things they either don't understand or just are really confused by, and I thought that was the funniest thing ever because there are just so many things that confuse me and I just had to do one of my own. I want to say I'm not looking for explanations of any of these, and I really don't want anybody wasting their time trying to explain these things to me because I could very easily look these up and find the answers to them and try and like understand it better, but I decided to make a video about it instead. So yeah, here's my list of things I don't think I will ever understand. Number one is weather forecasts. I kind of understand how it works to like an extent. The water cycle, got that. I got that 5th grade education under my belt, but like wind, what is it? I understand mountain winds, like the air goes down the mountain and that creates wind. But how does wind form when the land is flat? Like where does it come from? Or is it just a continuation of the mountain wind from a different place? But then I have the question of like, where does it go afterwards? Does it just move until the force behind it runs out? And temperature, what makes it so hot in the summer? Because like based on what I know, this could be wrong, from the Earth's axis, like if this is the Earth and this is the sun, the Earth is on like an axis going this way. This, with the farthest point away, is summer, and like it's the hottest when it's here, but the sun is furthest away from it, so how does that work? Also, why are people so accurate when they predict the weather? Like predicting it down to the exact temperature. How do you do that? How do you know it's gonna rain 2 weeks from now? Who told you that? Mother Nature? Like how did you obtain this information? Number two is plumbing. It's not electricity, but it acts like it. How does it work? How does the water know where to go? And how does it move through the pipes? Like is there a force behind it? Is it like suction? Oh, and the fact that it's all underground, who thought that was a good idea? How do you know where the pipes are and what each one of them is for? Do you have to like trace it back to the original source, or like can you write on them? And when the water goes down your drain, I mean this kind of is the same thing, but water plants, how do you get sewage out of water? How is water cleaned? Or like is it just never fully cleaned, it's just filtered to the point where it's clear? Number three is electricity. I couldn't tell you the first thing about it. I don't know what it is. I don't know how they're able to harness it for whatever they use it for. Where does the type of electricity you use for your house come from? Do you need to like harvest it somewhere, or can you make it artificially like static electricity? Also, power lines just really confuse me. Why is something so dangerous just over our heads at all times? That seems really unsafe. Who came up with that idea? Is there really no other way to do it? What if we could transfer electricity, like in that one scene in Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory where they transfer the kid using particles? Can we do that with electricity, or is it just like too out of control, it would go everywhere? Number four is people who can draw really well. I'm really not good at drawing. Even with a reference photo, I'm not that good. So when I see people who have like an idea in their head and they're just able to put it on paper like pretty much immediately out of their head and onto paper, like the amount of hours of practice they had to put into that skill to be able to bring that mental picture to life is inspiring, but also very confusing. Number five is anything having to do with math. Who thought to make it? How are the equations made? And where are these people getting numbers from for like anything having to do with it? What is the significance of complex math outside of professions that specifically require complex math? The only math related thing I could think of that would be important to learn in school is how to do our taxes. Number six is medicine. Where do you get the things to make it from? Is it derived from plants? Do you make it with chemicals like in a lab? How do you know how to extract one certain chemical from something? Also, how do you make sure it's right every single time? I mean, I'm assuming it's done by machinery at this point, but like still. Also, there are so many different types of every single medication. Why is that? What are the differences between them all? And why are they allowed to have differences if it's the same medical thing? And how do they all work once they get inside of your body? Does your stomach absorb it and then when it gets to the intestines it takes the medicine out and distributes it? Or does it send signals while it's digesting to your brain so it knows what to do? Or is it something else entirely? I love the entire medical field, but medicine just really confuses me for some reason. Number seven is how living things can exist if they're so small. Like ants. They seem like they shouldn't be alive to me, yet somehow they are. How do they stay alive? Do they have lungs and like hearts and stuff? I'm assuming they do, but I feel like they're so small I don't know if they would work in the same way that ours do. Also, like evolutionary wise, how have they made it this far? You know, like they're just so small I don't see how they haven't all gotten crushed or eaten by something. And what do they do in the winter? Like they can't migrate south, so what happens? Do they hibernate? How far down do you have to dig to like be warm when the top is frozen over? What happens when it rains, and how do they not drown? Do they find a place above above ground that they like hide out until they can go back to their base. Same thing with mice. How have they survived this long? Is it because there's so many of them, or they're really smart? Like, what is it? If there's a natural disaster like a flood or something, what happens to all those little animals and ants and stuff? Do they know how to swim, or do like people around that area build things like above certain places so that they can hang out so the ecosystem is fine afterwards? Number 8 is names. Like specifically the separation between like regular words and words used only for naming people. The line in between those two, I don't understand. Why am I allowed to name my baby Bob, but I can't name it Chair or something? I get that it's technically legal, I think, but why isn't it more common? They're just words that you use to like reference a person. Is it really that weird if their name, like their reference word, is the name of an everyday object? Maybe I just don't know what an acceptable name is. Also, why are there meanings for some names and not for others? Like, what does Bob mean? Sorry if your name is Bob. I'm just confused and I'm taking it out on your name. It's not personal. Number 9 is how people can figure out the chemical structures of things. Like, how do you see something so small, or do you just not see it? You just like trust it's there. How is the periodic table created? Did someone just like cut something up until it was so small they could see structures of things under a microscope? Like, did they have the microscopes to see it when they made that? Or like the spinny table that like breaks apart everything? Do you know what I'm talking about? But the periodic table was invented in 1869. What technology did they use to find all that? Because 1869, that was like a long time ago. What were they using to find all of this? Who had the idea to look for all of this stuff in the first place? And how many elements do you think there are that we just haven't discovered yet, or don't have the technology to discover yet? Number 10 is how computers work. I really don't have the first idea how somebody puts one of these together. I have a lot of friends that build computers, and like they're geniuses in my mind, because I really don't understand how you could take little metal parts and put it into a big metal part, and then you have access to this thing called the internet. The internet is a whole nother confusing thing on its own. I really don't understand what it is and how it exists. I can't even put into words how many questions I have on that. Oh, and software? What even is software? How is something able to change the way your computer works without you doing anything other than like clicking a button or putting a CD in or something? I can't even get into coding because I will lose my mind over how confusing I think it is, so we're just gonna move on. Number 11 is tattoos. I don't understand how a tattoo can stay on your body for so long, because isn't it like every 7 years your entire body just like regenerates all of your cells? And isn't it like every month your entire skin is new, and your skin's always like changing and stuff, so like how does it stay on for life? Especially the colored ones, because if you put like a colorful picture or a drawing like in the sunlight, the sun bleaches the colors out of it. So applying the same logic to color tattoos, how is the sun not bleached the whole tattoo? Like, I don't understand it. Number 12 is anything having to do with phones. Texts, how are they sent? Is it through like waves or something? How does it know where to go? Also, the fact that everybody has a different number makes no sense to me. There are so many people with phones. How has there never been an instance where somebody has the same phone number as somebody else? Or are there just so many combinations of those numbers that we just haven't run out yet? Also, how do you know what numbers have been taken already? Is there like a list? Do people keep track of it? And area codes, is that like how your message finds you, or are they just like additional numbers to organize where somebody is from? I think everything about smartphones is just out of my capacity to understand. I can't even use my iPhone 5 without getting really confused. So, and Wi-Fi? What even is Wi-Fi? Why do we need it? Why haven't we made phones that don't need that yet? I feel like we're at the level where we can move on from Wi-Fi. Is it just so like internet providers get more money, or is it something we actually do need? I don't understand anything about that. Okay, I think I'm gonna stop there because my brain is starting to hurt. I could probably think of like so many more of these, so if you guys like this video and you want a part 2, be sure you give this video a thumbs up so that I know to make another one. My voice is gone. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe and turn on my bell notifications so you don't miss a thing. Stay safe, stay healthy, make good choices, and I will see you guys next week. Bye guys.